Hello friends, it's Dave from Barmetrix and the Bar Shift. Today we're here to talk about your receiving process. Now, we're sort of, from an auditing perspective, think of it as loss prevention. And the first step in loss prevention is when product enters the venue. So if we're really loose right there at the outset of our processes, it opens the door to unscrupulous behavior. If there's people out there who are ill-intentioned and they know that there is a bad process in your venue, they can take advantage of that. Meaning, more specifically, I see people all the time that are buying stuff off the back of a truck. Well, the stuff that's on the back of that truck that the driver's selling for cash, someone else paid for that, right? So we want to make sure that our processes are tight such that we're not the ones being taken advantage of in that circumstance. The other thing that happens too is if we're missing stuff in the business, people typically don't think, oh, we must not have gotten that. Sort of the default position on our industry is someone stole it at the bar, overpoured it. You know, we sort of track it straight to an employee problem, and that may not be the case, friends. So we want to make sure that we've got great accountability the minute product hits the venue from a receiving perspective. So how do we do that? 4 really easy, awesome things that'll lock this up for you. The first one is have a designated receiving area. I know there's some of you that do unattended deliveries, meaning you have stuff, it might be food too, by the way, that comes in and no one's there. I need that in a specific area where the drivers drop that stuff off, and then I want you to put a camera on that space. So a lot of times, to drive the point home, I'll see drivers who come in and some drivers will take kegs straight to the keg room and some will leave them by the back door. Drivers will take the liquor to the office and then some will take it to the closet area, and stuff's just happening all over the place. I want to lock that in and communicate to all of our delivery drivers and all of our vendors, here's where we accept deliveries, and by the way, it's all on camera. We want to emphasize that we have accountability on this, and people are going to be a lot less likely to try to take advantage of you when they know that stuff's on camera. So if there's a dispute and something doesn't show up, and you know, you have that uncomfortable call with your rep and you say, hey, I never got this. And they say, look, you signed for it. Our driver said they delivered it. You signed for it. Best we can tell, you own it. That's an uncomfortable conversation. What I want you to be able to do is say, let's go to the tape. And you see it come in on tape, you got it. If it didn't show up on tape, didn't get it, give me that credit. The second thing I want you to do is get a signature for whoever accepts delivery if it's not an unattended delivery. So there's days where the manager's not there. There's oftentimes we're doing audits and I'll say, hey, look, man, it just feels like this is not a high theft item. Feels like one of those deals where this thing didn't show up. And the manager will say, I don't work that day. And I'll say, oh, okay, fair enough. Who took delivery of this particular order? I don't know. So you don't know who takes deliveries on the days you're not there? No. Okay, I guess I understand some of that. But then what I don't understand is there's no signature, there's no name on the invoice telling me who took accountability for receiving this product. That's no good. So everyone needs to write or sign their name on the invoice, whoever took receipt of that delivery, name and date. Time is good too, all right? So think of it as a timestamp. We put that right on the invoice. The third thing we're gonna do is check mark verify. So whoever it is that's taking receipt, even if you're the owner, I want you to check mark verify your invoice. Most of you already do this, but some don't. Everything that comes in, I want you to physically put your eyes on that product and put a check mark verifying that it was there, and don't put a check mark over any of the data. The check mark goes over to the side. Sometimes people scribble out, they do the craziest things with invoices, and I can't read it afterwards. You still need to be able to read the invoice on your check mark verify process, all right? That's 3. Number 4, the fourth thing I want you to do is denote any returns, shortages, breakages, anything that's going on financially on the invoice or otherwise. I want that denoted on the invoice. There's even a lot of times where we'll have suppliers just send stuff. There's people out there where their suppliers do the ordering for them, which I do not advocate for. There's also times out there where suppliers just sort of sneak in products that they're promoting that they want to move, and they're still charging for this stuff, which blows my mind. but we want to make sure that anything that we send back, anything that's damaged, empty kegs going back, whatever the case may be, any financial or inventory transaction needs to be written down on that invoice. So in the end, it looks like this. Driver comes in, knows where the designated drop spot is. That designated drop spot is on camera. They're going to go find the manager or whoever's going to receive that invoice. That person's going to come over, put their eyes on every product, check mark, verify. When they're done, they're going to sign their name that they verified everything that was coming in. And they're also going to make note of any returns, damages, anything like that that's going back to the vendor. And we have a complete and bulletproof receiving process. And that's going to eliminate a lot of stress out of the business, a lot of ambiguity out of the business. And frankly, make sure that we're not blaming somebody for losses that aren't their fault, which I know is important to everyone who's watching this video. So there you go, friends. I hope you found that helpful. We'll see you next time. Take care.